This is immediately, like, right after I clicked the option. I was curious, so I had to ask. However, Damien looked at me, stopping me from opening my mouth.
Because I'm technically not a noble at all.
I tilted my head and raised an eyebrow in confusion. Not a noble, but aren't you all brothers? If the others are noble, that would make you one. Damon looked at his dish with a sigh. Suddenly, I felt regret for asking and pushing the topic. Before I could apologize, Damon spoke.
We are all half-brothers. We only share the same father. Our mothers are all different. James, Eric, Sam, and Matthew all had noble mothers who are now queens. My mother was not a noble, and is not a queen.
I could sense sadness in Damon's eyes. I bit my lip. I shouldn't push the issue. I'm sorry. Damon shook his head, snapping out of his thoughts, and he smiled at me.
For what? You didn't know, and were curious. It was only appropriate to answer.
Still, it was rude of me to pry like that. I'm sorry. I didn't know what to say. Damon only smiled lightly at me before continuing to eat. As he ate, my mind began to wander about the Abyssal Plains. What was it like? What did it look like? Was their castle big? How many servants did they have? My thoughts were halted by Damon chuckling. Most likely at my thoughts, I turned red in embarrassment. Sorry.
You keep saying sorry when you don't need to. It's kind of cute.
I pursed my lips, but I couldn't stop a blush from running across my face. This was going nowhere. I went back to eating in something, earning another chuckle from Damon. However, a groan of pain escaped Damon's lips. I stopped and looked at him in surprise. Damon, are you okay?
Yeah. It's nothing. Don't worry about it.
I heard him gulp it down and hide another groan, making me even more concerned than before. Damon.
It's just a headache. I get it when I run out of energy. I'll be fine.
He was out of energy? I guess he didn't take enough when we first met, so it was just enough to heal his wounds.
None of us took more than we needed to heal.
From the sound of his voice, he was fighting back a major pain. I felt incredibly bad. Damon smiled very lightly at me.
I'll be fine.
Yes. If he needed energy, I was willing to give it. Damon. Damon instantly turned away from me before I could finish my sentence.
No. I'll be fine. I'm used to this.
Used to it? Used to it? Used to pain? There was no way that was okay. I glared at Damon's back before grabbing his shoulder and forcing him around. Damon stared at me wide-eyed in surprise. Damon, let me help you. Please, I don't want to see you in pain like this. I continued to stare at him, wondering if he'd make the first move. I wanted to help him truly. I knew my energy would help him not feel pain. Damon must have heard my thoughts as his gaze changed from nervous to piercing. All of a sudden, I felt that familiar feeling of warmth running down my body once again. I felt my body slightly heat up as Damon wrapped an arm around my body and pulled my body close to his. How many times is this gonna say body? Damon grew a lustful gaze before speaking and brought a hand up to cup the back of my neck. If this gets too sensual, it will be skipped for you guys.
Thank you.
Cute. Before I knew it, Damon pulled me into a gentle but passionate kiss. Heat erupted through my body as his kiss slowly and almost timidly got deeper. Damon kept an arm around my waist while I rested my hand on his chest. The energy from my body was slowly draining into the kiss, making me feel light and warm. It was almost painful how comfortable and how willing I was in this situation. Still, I held no regrets. I was enjoying every bit of the kiss. Damon was a wild card. I didn't really know what to expect from him, and his kiss was no exception. Damon wasn't forceful, but his kiss was deep and passionate, and it felt almost magical. It was like how I imagined my first kiss to be like, except with energy drain. Soon, though, the energy drain stopped and Damon pulled his face away to end the kiss. I stare up at him as we both panted for air. I never kissed like that before, and I was lost in the moment. And I was so lost in the moment that I had forgotten how to breathe. Damon moved a strand of hair from my face to behind my ear, still full of desire.
I'm okay now. But
I could feel the hold of his mind-altering spell fade away, but I still felt hot. Something that told me that I wanted more, but at the same time, I wasn't sure if I did want to give him any more. I'm looking something up real quick. Okay. I have to keep going. It says. Yeah. Okay, so we're skipping this. I felt good. I didn't care that I was blacked out. It felt warm and fuzzy in the darkness. I never knew indulging in that kind of passion would be that good. Now I just waited to awaken, hopefully in a good way. My eyes eventually fluttered open and adjusting to the sight around me. I felt a familiar silk underneath me, letting me know that I was in bed. Slowly, I sat up, stretching from the tiredness that still lingered. I felt a soft pain on my neck and shoulder. I could feel my swollen lips pulse gently and healing. However, when I looked down at my body, I saw that my shirt had been pulled back up and rebuttoned as if nothing happened between me and Damon. I was just missing a ribbon. Before I turned out of bed, though, I spotted my ribbon on the pillow beside the one that I slept on. It was tied around a small pin in a nice bow with a small note attached to it. I gently slipped the note from the tie and opened it to read.
Thank you. I indulged myself, but I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did.
I stared at the note, letting a small smile grace my lips. He indulged himself as much as I did. I enjoyed it. It was cute, though, to imagine him thanking me for something we both did and enjoyed. I brought the note to my chest, letting the memories of our meet flood my mind. I indulged myself too, Damon. Interesting. I looked at the time out of curiosity. The white numbers on my phone showed 5:30 p.m. 5:31 p.m. Yikes! For 4 hours being knocked out, and I still felt tired. It was Sunday, and I was allowing myself to sleep a bit longer if I wanted to.
Yo, Anderson!
Oops. Oopsie. I smiled before putting the note in my bag and eating up. The food was delicious, and I had devoured every amazing bit. I look at the time. Time to go. I quickly rush to the doors, checking myself in the passing. Before I could reach the handle of the door, however, someone took my hand. Huh? I turned to see Damon, who was holding my hand back with a concerned frown on his face.
My name.
Your name?
My true name isn't Damien. I want you to know my real name, if something were to happen.
Do I keep calling him Damon or Damien? I can't remember. His true name? What did he mean? Why was he telling me this now? I remember reading about demons' names from the journal I read yesterday. If I knew a demon's true name, you could summon them to you, no matter where you were or where they were. Damon gently pulled me to him and leaned close to my ear. Close to whisper in my ear.
My name is Ezrol.
Ezrol. Interesting. As he said his name, I could feel it lock into my memory. Something in my head would make sure I would never forget it. Damon pulled away and stared at me, despite still carrying worry in his eyes.
If you are in any danger, call my name. I promise, I'll come and help you.
Oh, how sweet. I stare up at Damien, unable to say anything. I could only nod in response. Damien smiled before releasing my hand and heading into the dining room. Something told me that name would be useful eventually. Mm-hmm.
Hey, who did why? And hey, she should understand. Are you? Hey, don't dirty. You're coming.
Okay, there we go. However, the wrap around my eyes were eventually removed from my face, and my bounds were cut. It took a while for my eyes to adjust, but I found myself in a warehouse surrounded by demons, including Malix, who was smirking at me.
Nicely done! I'm sure those little shits will come running to find you when they realize you didn't return to your precious little mansion. They'll search everywhere for you.
Malix walked over and set the barrel of his gun against the skin between my eyes.
It'll be so funny when they find your dead body instead.
Ezrol. That is so cool. All of a sudden, a bright purple light engulfed the room, causing the demons around me to cover themselves.
What the?
Ah!
Gust of wind rushed past me, almost forcing me back. I covered my eyes with my arms, bracing myself to stand up my ground. I tried to peek through my arms to see what was going on, but the light continued to shine brightly. Hello. As the gust slowly started to die, the light began to fade, revealing Damon with a blank expression, staring coldly at Malix. Damon.
I'm here, as I promised.
Max removed his arms from in front of his face and slowly took in the new sight in front of him. Quickly, Malik's face turned to that of pure evil delight.
Out of the 5 pretty boys, you summoned the pathetic one? What a fucking moron!
Damon stared at Malix silently and fiercely cold. Damon began to walk towards Malix, one step at a time. Malix, however, brought up his gun and pointed it at Damon.
So long, pretty boy!
Malix pulled the trigger and let a bullet fly straight at Damon's head. I gasped, but bracing myself for the result of the shot. Damon, however, kept walking. Damon didn't fly back, nor did he flinch from the shot. I couldn't see the bullet wound, but I knew there had to be one in Damon's face.
What the? Fucking die!
Me to zombies and skeletons in Minecraft. Finally! Oh, I love that. Max began to quickly pepper the Damon's face, some of them passing completely through his head. There was no... Yes, that age gap is very inappropriate. There was no blood, no fire, nothing. It was as if Damon didn't really exist as he walked towards the now frightened demon,
What
or
crap
devil.
spell is this?
As Damien finally reached Malix, the devil jabbed at Damien's head towards the ground, making Damien's body fall and slam into the concrete as if the body settled onto the ground. It slowly began to burn away into purple flames. Damien gritted his teeth.
A distraction. Where are you, Damien?
Malix scanned the room like a hungry dog hunting for its final meal. Malix's body began to glow a fury red color in anger from the situation. The remaining devils start. The remaining devils started to figure out what to do. Started trying to figure out what to do, help Malix or watch in silence. Iris, however, walked up beside me and crossed her arms as she watched with an amused smirk on her face. She said, interesting. I'm gonna chill with the human for a second.
Come out!
The air intently went from frantic to still in energy. What could have been described in tone as the red quickly turned into a deadly mix of purple and black. Everything began to blend together all at once. Damien's voice finally replied. However, his voice seemed different.
What's wrong, Malix? Are you afraid of me now?
I was suddenly afraid. Something about Damien didn't fit right with how I knew him. He sounded otherworldly. His voice was dripping with an almost with an almost sadistic tone as he spoke through the air.
Afraid of a pretty boy like you. You don't even have the balls to face me head on. You're the one who's afraid.
Looking at Malix, however, I could tell that he was off. Something about what Damien was doing was keeping Malix in his place.
Oh, I'm not afraid of you. In fact, I know very well you're afraid to move right now. You are practically screaming it in your mind.
Malix, in a fit of insane rage, began to shoot in the air, letting the bullets fly into the ceiling.
Shut the hell up!
Damon's demonic laughter filled the room as a group of dark figures appeared around Malix, walking toward him slowly in meticulous defense. Malix fired shots at each entity around him, causing them to fall and fade into purple flames. However, that didn't stop more from appearing around him and closing in on him. Malix became frantic. Was this the extent of demon power? Suddenly, a pair of hands covered my eyes tightly, pulling me against someone's chest. I gasped, but was stopped from prying their hands off my face.
It's me. Don't look.
Okay. I listened carefully, and let the last two words linger in my mind. Don't look. Why was that? Why? What was being hidden from me? I wanted to know, but something told me to obey Sam's command. I could hear Malix's screams of agony, and I feel like I can't say that. I don't think. Okay. The smell of blood was covered by the harsh odor of ash and fire. Of ash or fire. Okay. Maybe it was better I wasn't able to see.
Damien! Enough!
Almost instantly after James' command, the sounds stopped. The only thing anyone could hear then was the sound of dripping blood.
At least let me dispose what's left of him.
What's left of him? What?
I'll take care of it. You've done enough, Damien. Come out.
After a brief silence, a pair of footsteps made their way to my spot. Each step seemed to echo with a haunting, otherworldly tone, almost as if a very low and dark piano played a singular tone with each step the pair of feet took.
I will admit, you really wailed on him. You practically scared everyone out of the warehouse. It's a good thing you were hiding when you lost your glamour spell, huh?
Glamour spell? What did he mean? Why did Damien sound different? Sound so different. Why was this being hidden from me?
It's a spell that makes us look human.
I froze. Look human? They didn't look human. They didn't look like humans after all. What did they look like?
Like demons.
Oh. As if Matthew knew what Damien was talking about, Matthew spoke up, followed by the sound of a cork popping out of a bottle.
Well, not for much longer. Here.
I could hear the sound... my shoulder. I could hear the small clinking of glass being passed before hearing Damien... What the... Who is behind me? Oh my god. before hearing Damien guzzle down a liquid of some sort. The feeling of the air around me gently began to warm back up, insinuating that everything had been returned to normal. Finally, Sam moved his hands from my eyes, allowing me to see around me once again. The devils, including Iris, had fled. Maximus... Oh. My voice just fucking cracked. Oh my god. Oh! Madam! Maximus was missed. Oh, okay. Okay. I've been reading for like 3.5 hours straight. I think I need to stop soon. Max was missing, but the bloodstains left behind in his place told me that he was definitely dead, regardless of his location. The boys, however, had gathered around me, all of them, including Damien, looking like nothing had happened. What just